Hey there, so I'm making a little salad. I've got some English cucumber, some nice red onion, some avocado. Now you notice the avocado, the skin peeled off nice and easy, none of it stuck to it. It was ripe enough so it didn't stick to the stone, but it hasn't gone all black and nasty yet. That's a nice avocado. English cucumber, thinly sliced. All that I did with my trusty Langoy knife, just holding it up and cutting like this. No need to use the cutting board. So I guess as a final step, I'm going to throw in some of those delicious Kalamata olives. You know what? I promised you guys a vinaigrette last week, so I'm just going to show you a simple vinaigrette right in the situation. Sprinkle a little salt on. Grind in some pepper. Splash in some extra virgin olive oil. You want the extra virgin olive oil. It's the first pressing cold. Just an ounce or two. And you can splash in about an equal quantity of vinegar. So you just stir that around to get the olive oil, the vinegar, and the salt, the pepper all mixed up. Yow! I feel good. What you gotta remember when making salad dressing is to use extra virgin olive oil. If you're using extra virgin olive oil, you can make your dressing 50-50 olive oil and vinegar, which is healthier. If you don't use extra virgin, if you use vegetable oil or anything else, you probably got to go 2 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. It's a lot more fat. And your basic vinaigrette, salt, pepper, oil, and vinegar in equal quantities could be turned into a French dressing by adding a little Dijon and some paprika. Could be turned into Italian dressing by adding a little garlic, oregano, basil, maybe some crushed red pepper. So there's a lot you can do with a simple vinaigrette. Anyways, I'm going to get on to the main course. I got some mixed pork beef. I'm going to make it to burgers, fry with some potatoes, serve with green beans, make a little juice. Take 20 minutes. It's going to be delicious. You'll see. You'll be happy. Got my frying pan heating up here in the background on medium heat. Got about a half pound of ground meat. Add a sprinkle of salt, a little freshly ground pepper, and then I'm going to mix that up and make 2 beef patties. In the meantime, I think I'm going to throw some potato wedges into the frying pan with a little butter to get them started before the hamburgers go in. Let's see. Got a hot frying pan. Some cool margarine go in there. Spread around. You got a hot pan, cool oil, food's one stick. I got my trusty Langoy pocket knife. You know, I love this Langoy knife. It's a beautiful thing. I bought it at Lee Valley. It's a beautiful thing. I use it for just about everything. Now, I don't keep it too sharp because I do a lot of cutting by hand, and you don't want it so sharp that it's going to cut your thumb every time it needs hit. But I love it for slicing just about anything. So I'm going to cut some wedges in there. Let those guys get started while I mash some burgers together. Those potatoes are well underway. I'm going to move them out to the sides and put the hamburgers in that pan with them. You guys make a little space there. While that's cooking, I'm going to get the snap beans ready. These are really nice beans. There's a reason they're called snap beans. They snap when you crack them. If they don't snap, they're no good. And A lot of people don't like leaving the little tail on, but that for me is a sign of freshness. Once that tail starts going bad, they're no longer as pretty as they should be. So I leave it on. I like that little tail. That's a sign to me that these beans are at their peak. So I put the green beans on to steam, and I'm going to see if these guys are ready to flip, and you can shake the pan, or you can just give them a little nudge. They're not stuck to the pan anymore. They're ready to flip. So I'm going to flip those burgers. Make sure they stay in the middle. Give the potatoes a random stir. So I've done this with a beef pork mix. You could do beef chicken, pork chicken, beef turkey, beef lamb, chicken lamb. There's all sorts of ground meats that work well. I like to keep it with beef and something else. The beef and pork is nice because the pork is nice and moist. This is looking almost ready. I steam the green beans. I gotta think, for the majority of vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, carrots, steaming is the ultimate. There's just, as far as I'm concerned, no better way to cook them. I mean, stir frying is nice, and I like to keep things into one pan, but steamed bean, the steamed carrot is so good. And here's the other thing nice about steaming it. That water down there is just soaked up nutrition from the beans. I'm going to use that water to make my own juice later, and that way I'm recycling those delicious bean flavors, not to mention those nutritious bean vitamins and minerals that have seeped out into the water. Steaming's good. So everything's almost ready here. There's not too much oil. If there was a lot, I would drain it with a spoon. There's just a bit, so I'm going to take a paper towel here and just blot up the oil that's been released by the cooking meat. We don't want that in our gravy. Everything looks ready. I'm going to remove the potatoes, the onions, and the hamburgers onto a plate. Ready to serve. Add up the green beans. Gonna put a little stock in the fry pan. Oops. Use the water from the green beans. And then be sure to scrape off all those burnt bits at the bottom. You know, for that one I'm going to add a little of the wine I've been drinking while I'm cooking. Oh, and I think I could use just a touch the Parents Worcestershire sauce. Touch of soy, and maybe a little Dijon mustard. So that makes a very attractive meal. You got your two little hamburgers, your nice potato wedges, your green beans.